Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee. Today we're going to be making this cute little treat holder that when you pull up on the ribbon, it reveals the candy that's tucked inside. Let's get started making this cute Valentine's project. Start with a piece of Designer Series paper cut at 6 by 4, and I'm using the Designer Series paper stack Sending Love. Again, that's part of that Sending Love suite. It's a 6 by 6 paper stack, and again, it's cut at 4 by 6 and scored a 1/2 inch along the short, or here's the 6-inch side, score it at 1/2 inch. And whatever side that you decide you want facing outward, you go ahead and tuck in that flap and apply a strip of tear and tape along the edge. What we want to end up with is tear and tape along the score line, the little flap here that we made, as well as along the bottom. So in order to do that, what I like to do is take this tape off first, and then grab another strip of the tear and tape and lay that right over top and try to get as close to the edge as what you can. Tear that off. I like to give that a press and then peel off that. So now we've got tear and tape along the edge and the bottom, and I like to bring the short sides together, so bring the 4-inch sides together, and I like to kind of line it up lightly first so that if I need to reposition it like that, I can. And finger press that down, and then finger press down, whoops, the bottom. And what I wanted to tell you, see if I can tear that out. Well, you want to make sure that you get the bottom close together before you do the bottom. So don't do what I did on that, but make sure that the bottom lines up a little better. Then take your bone folder and give it a nice burnish. So we don't need to score the other side of it. We'll just let, putting the two sides together in the bottom, make our little pouch. So right there, we've made a cute little pouch just on its own, but we're going to add the ribbon mechanism to it now. With a 1/4 inch hole punch, just get these at the office supply store, I'm going to punch a hole in the center. Also starting January 4th, Celebration starts, and one of the options that you can pick from your Celebration items is a metallic ribbon combo pack. It's the 3/8 metal ribbon. You get both a gold and whisper white tone and a silver and whisper white tone. And take the ribbon and cut about 14 inches, and you're going to thread it through the hole that we just made and kind of, even it up. And then what I did is I took these little Valentine fun size M&Ms, and we're going to tuck those inside. So what you want to do is open up your pouch, and we're going to put this right on top of the ribbon. That's going to allow the ribbon to pull, and you can adjust the ribbon after you get the little candy tucked in there. Okay, so then you can just kind of pull the ribbon so that it evens it up. And if you want to, you can tuck this completely inside the pouch by just kind of keep pressing it in. But actually, I kind of like it to be revealed just a little bit so that whoever gets it knows that there's a treat in it. Now, if you would like, you can tie a bow on the top part of it like this. What I tend to like to do is to tie the ribbon loose. I think it makes it feel more like, hey, there's something to pull here. And so take about 10 or 12 inches of thick whisper white baker's twine, and we're going to tie together the metallic ribbon. So we're connecting those two ribbons together, and kind of adjust your bow how you like it. Get my paper snips here and trim up the tails a little bit. And then the same thing with the top. Trim up the top of the ribbon, however you might like. And then that creates the little pull-out mechanism. And then you can just tuck it back in there. But that's as easy as what the pouch is. So let's go ahead and let's decorate one together. Continuing on in the product suite, I'm going to use the Sealed with Love bundle. It uses the Sealed with Love stamp set as well as the Love Notes framelits. So those are going to be the combination that I use to create all of the cute things that will go on the outside of it. So with Real Red, I'm going to take one of the heart images that's on the step or on the stamp set, and a piece of scrap Whisper White paper, going to stamp the hearts. Next, I'll bring in my Big Shot and line up the die right on top of the stamped image. And we'll get that one die cut. And it makes this cute little note card that we're going to tuck in later. The die set includes this little mini envelope maker, and so with another piece of your 6x6 Sending Love Designer Series paper, die cut out an image, and it automatically does the scoring for us. Awesome. Makes a cute little envelope, and I like to use mini glue dots to put that together. So I've got my paper piercer. I find it easy to pick up the glue dots off of there. And so, whoops, I'm going to put one of the glue dots there to hold the flap together. And then grab another glue dot and put it right there on top of the flaps. And then fold the bottom flap forward. And then that gives us our little pouch that we can tuck in our little love note. Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen? Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. The stamp set also comes with some sentiments, so let's stamp one on top of it. I always like stamping on my paper piercing foam mat when I'm using the photopolymer. With some of these smaller images, it's not really necessary 100%, but I just have a habit of doing it. And let's see here. This one says, I love you lots. So you can just put it wherever you'd like it on your little note. Adorable. I like to give it some contrast rather than just putting it right on the pattern paper here. And so what I did is I used a 2-inch circle punch and punch out either Whisper White, but in this case I've got gold glimmer paper. And you'll see my trick here in a little bit, but I did use the 1/2-inch circle punch and punched out a little hole there because glimmer paper doesn't take adhesive very well if you put something on top of it. So this is my little trick that you've probably seen me do time and again. And I'm going to put the glimmer paper down with, oops, some Tombow, some multi-purpose glue. Doesn't really matter where you have the hole that we punched out. Put that down as a little background. And with the Stampin' Dimensional, I'm going to put it right in the center of that hole. And then our little love note can sit right on top of it. Now I do like to mix up my metals a little bit, meaning that this is silver, that's gold, but I just think it adds a little nuance to it. And then our little note tucks right into it. How adorable is that? You get it, you open it up, love you lots, pull it up, and you've got a treat. And here are some other ways that I decorated the little treat pouch here. This uses the stitch shapes framelits and then stamped one of the larger sentiments just on top of it. The die set does come with a little heart. added glimmer paper down towards the bottom. On this one, I used the 2-inch strip that was left over. So when you cut the 6x6, you cut it at, you cut 4 inches. You have this 2-inch strip left over. So if you want to, you can decorate the bottom. Kind of do a little wraparound look on that. And then I put the little envelope on the bottom. Sent with love. This one uses another one of the die cuts and gold foil paper. And again, there's that one close up. I think this is a great project if you want to jazz up your treats that maybe your kids pass out at school for Valentine's Day. With 48 in a pack, you can definitely have enough paper from the paper stack to make enough for all of the classmates. And then you have extras left over in the pack that you can use to die cut out your envelopes. So you can get probably 3 or 4 from one sheet of designer series paper from the stack. Well, I hope you like this little Valentine treat project. And also you can do the same thing here by just kind of measuring the width of the candy. And you can also tuck a note in there if you don't want to give candy. Again, just love that. And, while you might be considering getting the paper stack because it's celebration through March 31st, you could also choose the ribbon with a $50 purchase. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy crafting. Bye-bye.